welcome all of you to the Home Depot SEC on CBS. This afternoon, the Auburn Tigers against the Bulldogs of Georgia. Redcoat band on the field prior to the kickoff. Every ticket has been sold, but not every seat has been filled. But the crowd is going to be announced at north of 92,000. And yes, the Auburn band has made the 3-hour trip up from Auburn, Alabama. Bring you up to date on the SEC East. Florida won, as most of you know. Tennessee is winning big, so it's going to come down to either of those two teams. And out west, Alabama rolled over Mississippi State. But Auburn very much in control of its destiny. If they win today, and in 2 weeks in Tuscaloosa, they're going to Atlanta. Hi once again, everybody. Vern Lundquist along with Gary Danielson. We welcome you to Sanford Stadium. Let's talk first about Auburn. A 1-2 start. They really stumbled out of the gate. Gary, they've now won 6 in a row, and it's been fueled by their running game. They will be absent the SEC's leading rusher. Cameron Petway, heading for a touchdown last week against Vanderbilt. Pulled up. He is here with the team, but he is in cities. How do they account for his loss?
Well, I think the first thing Auburn has to do is depend on their defense. It's an elite defense, especially in that defensive line. Yes, they run the ball well, but the thing that stood out for Auburn all year has been their defense. It's been counted on now. Without Petway, it'll be Kerryon Johnson at running back. He was the starter and the featured back to begin this season until he got nicked, and then Petway kind of emerged. But I really think it's been the emergence of Shaun White, the quarterback. Now, I was dead wrong on this Auburn offense. I thought they needed a runner at quarterback to really make this offense go. But Shaun White has made it with efficiency and accuracy in throwing the football. He's made a difference in the offense. And as he goes, this Auburn offense has got better and better, and they've been almost unstoppable.
7-2 coming in. That's a contrast to Georgia. Kirby Smart in his first year, they got a 3-0 start, but they have stumbled badly. What do they got to play for?
A lot. They got this big game here, and their hope, I think, is Auburn is looking to Alabama. And they can take this game. Now, they're not going to save their season, but the taste might be a little bit better if they can knock off Auburn in this football game. Georgia has a young team, an emerging team, but a team that has a lot of mismatched parts. But they do one thing well. They stop the run well. And against Auburn, that gives them hope.
Well, the 120th meeting between these two, Georgia has won 8 of the last 10. We'll return to Sanford Stadium in the beautiful little college town of Athens, Georgia, right after this. The home 5-4 record. They did win last week on a last-second field goal. Let's go down to the third member of our crew. Here's Allie LaForce.
Hey, Vern, as you know, Georgia won the first 3 games of the season, but they've lost 4 out of the last 6. And Coach Smart told us they've really struggled to find a theme or any consistency. So the coaching staff got together after the Florida loss. They decided to simplify everything for this team on both sides of the ball. That resulted in a win against Kentucky, which Maurice Smith told me did wonders for the confidence of this football team. He said they're really excited now for the challenge of Auburn. Auburn, on the other hand, has rattled off 6 straight wins, and the players made it very clear to me they are not looking past Georgia. Montravius Adams specifically, being from Georgia and coming back, said he had to really drown out the noise more than ever this week. And you know, as they say in a rivalry game, anything can happen, but a win for Georgia against Auburn, that could really make their season.
Well, there's a familiar octet on the front row. And it is a pleasure to welcome the 4th member of our team. Here's Garth Brooks.
Now it's kicking in, pure adrenaline. No one's ever been where you're standing. Or even come to town, Georgia gonna hunker down.
It's the Deep South's oldest rivalry, the Tigers versus the Dogs on CBS.
Pure adrenaline.
Beautiful day in mid-November here in Sanford Stadium. 62 degrees, winds out of the northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour, but no chance of rain listed. 120 meetings between these two teams. Georgia has a lead of 1 game. And here's an ironic fact. Auburn leads games in Athens. Georgia has a lead in games played in Auburn. Auburn won the toss. They've deferred. And that means Georgia will get the ball to open the game. Daniel Carlson will kick off. Cole Hardman, a defensive back, is the deep man along with Brendan Douglas. Taken by Douglas and take a knee as well. So touchback. And let's introduce you to the Chick-fil-A. I knew he would do it. Starting lineup. Here's Jacob Eason, freshman from Lake Stevens, Washington.
Well, at this point in the season, you got to hang up that freshman tag. He's played enough football games now that he has to take the next step. And for Georgia to win this game, I think Jacob Eason's going to have to play his best game of the season. He has to anticipate his throws. He can now hang on to the football.
Nick Chubb will get the start at the running back spot. Blazevich starts in motion, applies the block. They try to get Chubb around the corner. Pretty good defensive unit and play. Let's set the offensive lineup now for the Bulldogs of Georgia. Catalina is a graduate transfer from Rhode Island. Nick Chubb is getting the start. He started this year, and you all know he had the serious knee injury last year with 222 yards against North Carolina. But the yards have been preciously achieved since then. They'll give it to Chubb again. Yes! I think it's going to be just short of the first down. See where they spot the ball. Oh, they are going to give him the first down.
And just those quick hitting plays. Attack quickly using the quickness of the ball carrier against the quickness of that Auburn defensive front. Every time you try to stretch it out wide, it really allows that front four to really make a lot of plays. Good call by Georgia to start the game.
And the first down at the 35-yard line. Eason, 6'5", 225. Kind of slips as he gets rid of it, the handoff. And Chubb backs his way out to the 39-yard line. Defensively for Auburn. Lawson, he is a load. Defensive end. See the tackles, Russell and Adams. They're a good one. Joshua Holsey, one of the cornerbacks, with game-saving interceptions in each of the last two games. Gain of 4, second down 6. Sony Michel is the running back now. Here comes the blitz. They toss it out to Michel. He gets out of the first tackle and flies as he gets to the Auburn bench.
Almost on the pitch, it was batted down, but once Michel got to the edge, he was able to give a slight straight arm and get around the corner. Watch, right at the pitch, almost knocked down by Deshaun Davis, the middle linebacker who climbed to the edge of the defense and almost got his hand on that one.
That's another first down for the Bulldogs. First down 10, Chubb back in. Isaiah McKenzie, number 16. They toss it to him.
That's
and
what
he
I'm talking
gets
about.
nothing.
Tough to get around the corner here. Kevin Steele, the defensive coordinator, has brought this defense where he learned it from Nick Saban in Alabama. And to get outside on the little quick jet sweep, toss pass, whatever you want to call it, I guess it's a completed pass, but so hard to get around the corner of this Auburn defense.
Tackle made by Carlton Davis, number 6. That's a loss of 3.
First challenge for the Georgia offensive line now, because what Auburn does best is rush the passer.
Chubb searching for a way. Now Kirby Smart, in our conversation yesterday with him, quite candid in asserting that the offensive line is not the strength of Georgia.
It's been the same 5 starters all year, and they're not blowing anybody off the ball, but that's what they have. You know, if he had somebody else, as he looked at us, he said we would contemplate some change-ups, but they're the best 5 we have.
Cublano, the center, out over the ball. 4 wides, it's 3rd and 12. 2 on either side. See what Auburn has defensively. Eason goes deep. He's got a man open and it's caught.
Catch.
Wow! Javon Mims, who's getting his first start, he had to adjust his route to catch up with the ball.
I think he might even get roughing the passer on this throw. That's how good of a throw it was. Oh,
Number
man.
72. 10-yard penalty for the previous spot. Repeat, 3rd down.
It was a wonderful pass considering Jacob Eason getting hit right in the mouth as he lets it go. And they called holding on the left side, Tyler Catalina, number 72. So what a perfect throw, kind of cut inside. They called the holding on the right side. You can't really see it there, but it was on Marlon Davidson, number 3, that the call was made. One more look, called it right here. As he goes inside, you see his hand, yes, pulled him down. As he fell down backwards, Catalina gets called. That's a good call, and it wiped out a huge play and a tremendous catch on the outside.
40-yard pass, and instead of the first down near the 20.
Yeah, now you just got to be safe if you're Georgia right here. Be careful, screen pass, yep.
Dropped.
Yeah.
Michelle dropped it.
You can't have a turnover at this time, 3rd and that long distance. You got to just concede and punt the ball.
Tennessee has won over Kentucky. So here are the updated East standings. Florida at 5-2. Tennessee at 3-3. Recall that Tennessee knocked off Florida. So should they wind up in a tie, the Volunteers have the tiebreaker.
Right, Florida goes to LSU.
Bryce Ramsey is on to punt. 1 hop. And a tackle made on the sidelines. Marcus Davis with the return. Isaac Nauta with the tackle. Marshall Long injured a knee. The normal punter, he injured a knee in practice this week. So Bryce Ramsey will take his place. 10:49 to go opening quarter. Auburn has the football for the first time, and it's time to introduce you to the Chick-fil-A starting lineups. At quarterback, Sean White came on, earned the spot in game 3, sat out the first half of last week's victory over Vanderbilt, but on the whole, Gary, he's had a terrific season.
He has. He's doing it with smart play near the line of scrimmage, making a lot of great decisions. The ball handling is really tricky because he's not a big threat to run the ball. He has to do everything else at a high level. Ball handling, calling the right play, and obviously being accurate when he does throw the football.
And it's Kerryon Johnson who gets the start, number 21, at running back. Johnson tries to bounce outside and can't. Offensively for Auburn, James Kozan Golson. Down at the bottom, the one freshman starter, Darius Slate. He caught his first touchdown pass of the year last week. There's the handoff to Kerryon Johnson again. Wow.
Well, when I think about this offense for Auburn, I think about downhill and physical football first. Then I think about misdirection and, of course, Gus's trademark, as we look at Petway right there, that he sprinkles in the tempo in the fast football.
First down 10. Up the middle, Darian Johnson.
When you look at this Georgia defense, what they've done well is not allow teams to outrush them. So they've been stopping the run all year. Ole Miss is the only team 180 yards, but they held Florida to just 100 yards rushing.
Stanton Truitt is the running back, and a fumble in the backfield. Who got it?
It looks like Auburn.
Yep. Stanton Truitt, who just came on, a former wide receiver, number 10.
Yeah, that was just a self-inflicted right there, and they're very fortunate to get it because Sean did not get the ball at all. You expect the quarterback to fall in his own fumble, and actually it was, as you said, Truitt, that got the football.
So third down 10. Corner blitz. Here he comes, unimpeded, and it's incomplete. Quincy Mauger.
Well, remember the matchup of familiarity. That's another part of this game. Kirby Smart and Mel Tucker from Alabama has faced this offense many times, and they know what's coming. Does it always work stopping them? No, but at least they know what's coming.
That's going to bring on Kevin Phillips to punt. And
ended up being good.
Yes, it did. Inside the 10. And down to the 9. 50-yard punt, no return. Georgia gets the ball for the second time when we come back. No score first quarter. Now it's time to take a look at our Home Depot tools for success.
You know, Vern, I've never done a project where I needed just one tool to finish it. Remember the clinching interception by Joshua Holsey last week against Vandy? It looked like there was a lane there, and Holsey comes up with the interception, but he got help. Marlon Davidson just turned Kyle Shermer just enough for that ball to go to the right, so it really was a team. More than one tool. One guy makes the interception, but it's every layer counts. You got to have the pass rush, the linebackers, and the DBs, and that's why this Auburn defense is working so well. Use all your tools, Vern.
Well, I was listening very closely to you. There's one major difference from you and me. I've never had a project.
In retirement from football next fall, get going. Just get going.
Hammer and nails, right? Nancy would turn over in shock. From the 8, first down. Nick Chubb.
Great balance, great balance.
Boy, oh boy. That's encouraging.
Well, the meeting was called by Nick Chubb and Sony Michel, and it was after the Florida game as you watch the run again. They ran the ball in that game for 21 yards against Florida. And everybody on the offense obviously embarrassed, but the commitment from the running backs and the coaching staff was, we're going to continue and get more reinvesting in running the ball, and you can see it. 12 men in the huddle, is that what they're going to call it?
There is no foul for legal substitution. There are 11 players in a formation.
That's Ken Williamson, our referee today. Kirby was out on the field to make sure.
Well, so, you know, at that play, I think Nick Chubb was out there and Sony Michel came in and the referee got a little confused. As did I.
Blazewicz in motion. Quick flip out here on the side. Terry Godwin, number 5. And Deshaun Davis, who was ejected in the first half of last week's game for targeting. So sat out the second half and was eligible to come back. Second down, 3, no score. Past the midway part of the first quarter. Eason.
Excuse me, Vern. Georgia doing a lot of tight end split in this game.
Chubb. Harder and first down. Christian Payne was moving.
Yes, he was.
Motion, offense, number 47. 5-yard penalty from previous spot. Repeat, second down.
And let's get a little more on Nick Chubb from Allie LaForce.
Vernon Gary, it was so encouraging yesterday hearing him say that he's almost 100% and that he really believes he can get there. He said his biggest hurdle has been mental, not physical, but even listening to the players talk about him and his impact, if we're not seeing the numbers we're used to seeing him have, he's still so invaluable to this team. Coach Smart calls him a Wolverine. Sony Michel said we thought he was indestructible until his injury. After that, he motivates us all every day in practice to be better players. They could not think more highly of this athlete.
After the penalty,
Man.
Davis, he had his eyes upfield.
He sure did. Deshaun Davis had a 6-point play right there. Anticipated it, did a good job. He starts out in the middle, looking at him, reading his eyes, and almost bounced right to him.
That was Jonathan Ford, who was also making contact with the football now.
And he almost made contact with the receiver. Everything happened all at the same time right there.
Third down 8.
Remember, it was 2nd and 2.
Eason goes deep again. Oh, it's caught! Riley Ridley. You remember him, don't you? There's a flag again, and where's the flag?
It was on the catch to the side. Looks like the defensive back was holding on the play. The second great throw from Jacob Eason. Watch to the outside. There's Davis right there. He's holding his arm, so he ends up making a one-handed catch. Davis didn't think he could catch it. He goes, I'm holding on to one of the arm.
Pass interference, defense, number 31. Offside. Defense, number 4. No penalties or decline. First down.
And it's a first down after a 59-yard gain.
And this one, again, a perfect throw on the play. He had one early, but watch this one. Offsides lined up in the neutral zone is what one was called, and then can't do it any better than that. Matthew Stafford would be impressed with that one.
59 yards, first down at the 15. Play action. Eason fires it. Incomplete. Caught by Blazevich. Tried to drag that foot.
Yeah, I think by the time he had it, he was out of bounds.
Yep.
He bobbled it once and he was out.
Yep. And the Verizon Red Zone, this is a statistical representation of the Georgia offense.
Here goes the Wildcat.
Terry Godwin.
He can throw. Not this time.
Well, he locked it. Oh,
man.
dear.
Not this time.
Wow, Trey Matthews.
Well, we got a flag down on the play, though. As Kirby said, we told you all week, if it's not there, throw it away. And I think Terry Godwin said I was trying to, just didn't do it very well.
Ineligible receiver downfield. Offense. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is a touchback. First down.
Well, when you're struggling on offense, you try to steal a play. And this time, Chigbu was the one, I think it was going to be this guy right here that was going to go down the field. He stalled. I don't know who was downfield on the play, to tell you the truth. Watching that, I did not see anyone downfield. I think the officials got confused on the play, but it didn't matter. It was picked off, and that is one of those plays where you call a trick play and you say, please, don't let it hurt us, and it did.
Well, the man in the end zone who made the interception, Trey Matthews, he's got a little history in this rivalry. Here's the interception off Godwin. Trey Matthews began his career at Georgia and was a part of one of the more memorable plays in these 120 years. Remember this? 4th and 18, Nick Marshall goes deep. And it's deflected by Trey Matthews for Georgia. Into the hands of Ricardo Lewis. Auburn wins. Gary remarkably said, it's the greatest college football finish I've ever seen. We'll never see anything like it.
I was right for a couple weeks.
Yeah, for 2 weeks. Then we had the kick 6. Trey Matthews transferred, sat out, and now makes the first interception of the game. Carry on. Johnson. There's the whistle. Defensively for the Bulldogs. Marshall getting his start. One of 2 freshmen in the defensive line, the other being Julian Rochester. And you see the remainder of the defensive 11. Maury Smith, number 2, is an Alabama transfer. Stanton Truitt is in the backfield. Play action. Ryan Davis, number 83.
And here's where Auburn will try to go fast. When they have 3rd and short, they will try to go fast. And they are.
Truitt.
Oh, the
Ball's out.
Yes, it was at the end of the play, and I didn't hear a whistle. They're calling it back to Auburn. Truitt came up limping on the play. Remember, Petway is already out. Now Truitt's kind of gimpy.
Well, they give him 6 yards on the carry. 2nd down, 4.
Gets hit from behind here. His own man falls on him from behind as he runs out the play.
Carry on Johnson, number 21.
Johnson again the ball.
Again, remember, only one team all year. Now, we're looking at talking about the power of the Auburn running game. That's their trademark. But only one team all year has outrushed the Georgia team, and that was Florida. They rushed for 100 yards in 48 attempts. So this Georgia defense has done a really good job of controlling the other team's running game.
First down, Wildcat. Chandler Cox, number 27, took the direct snap. Defensive changes for Georgia.
John Franklin came on for that Wildcat package. Franklin, of course, starter a week ago because Sean White was banged up. Sean White came in the second half and basically saved Auburn in that Vandy game.
White's back, and they'll give the ball. He slipped. Kerryon Johnson did as he made his cut. Malcolm Parrish was the closest man defensively.
So trying to pry out the strategy from defenses against this Auburn attack is tough, isn't it, Vern?
Yes.
I mean, we need WikiLeaks, basically, to try to figure out how to stop them on this. But it does appear the strategy is keep it simple, and up front you have to control your man with 2 hands and not get blown off the line of scrimmage up front. Let the linebackers make the plays.
3rd down, 3.
Just like that.
Kerryon Johnson again. That's his 7th carry already. And again, Captain Petway injured, not suited.
Reason I'm talking about how the defensive line is more important to control the blockers is Tristan Thompson, the #1 tackler on the defensive line. When we were talking to the staff, they said he might not play as much in this game because he's more of a freelancer. We need our guys up front to stay solid and stay disciplined.
And he is among a quartet of late additions. Out defensively. Play action. White. Down the middle she goes. Incomplete at the 30-yard line. Intended for Marcus Davis. And Mauger, that's interesting. Quincy is a senior. And for years he's been known as Quincy Mauger. He asked this year that you pronounce it the French way. Mauger.
All right, you'll be in charge of that.
Thank
but I'll
you.
be in charge of this. That was a really accurate throw by Sean White, but it was great coverage, and that's what you're forcing. Sean White forces the defense. He's so accurate, you have to be there. If they're wide open, he does not miss them.
Sweep. Eli Stowe, number 12.
Motion starting.
There's the cornerback, Baker. That's a game of 12. Move the chain. Gus Malzahn, 4th year as the head coach at Auburn. Or they run the ball, won't they? Kerryon Johnson.
Watch how tricky and disciplined you have to be. A late shift by Sean White, and then the motion starts right away. If you're on defense, being able to recognize all this is tough. And now watch Georgia. If Auburn substitutes, Georgia substitutes. The Wildcats comes in, it doesn't matter. Anytime Auburn substitutes, Georgia will substitute to try to slow them down.
And this time the Wildcat position filled by Kerryon Johnson. He tosses it to Truitt. That may be the cheapest forward pass.
Love it.
Love it. You
Still
would
be playing if that was a good block that time by Chandler Cox, numbers 27 on the edge. He is really valuable, like in that Jake Walsh position for Auburn.
Here's Kerryon Johnson. Shoved out of bounds, but another substantial gain.
You know, when you watch this Auburn offense, you can't help but think of like watching the triple option offenses that we see in Navy, Army, Air Force. They run their play so fast because they only have a handful. They can run them fast and keep them off, and you see Kirby Smart says, my guys are confused. I need to take a timeout.
First timeout of the half.
So Georgia calls the first of its 3. Still first quarter play. Adam, I'm doing great. So's Gary. So's Allie. It's always good to be here in Athens. Get the CBS Sports app for inside access to Auburn, Georgia, or your favorite team. From signing day to game day, you'll get instant coverage of every moment from every angle. Download the CBS Sports app today. See those late defensive changes.
Yep, and everybody for Auburn touches the ball. You don't know who's going to get it.
Here's the sweep. Eli Stowe inside the 5 and down at the 3.
This is the 13th play of this drive, and it's technically 4 passes, but there's 2 of them right there. One like that, and we saw one like that earlier. So you can see when this offense is rolling, they come at you from every direction.
Up the middle, spin. His knee didn't go down until he got that last second surge.
And the surprising thing again is, you know, we're so used to this offense working with a Cam Newton or a Nick Marshall, but Sean White's not keeping it. You know, I mean, it's not like he's a threat. He carries the ball occasionally. You know, he's had 48 attempts, but a lot of those have been sacks. They count him back in the Wildcat.
Stowe, Kerryon Johnson, surges over right guard, ball loose.
Yeah, I think they called touchdown first.
They did.
Johnson carries for the Auburn touchdown.
Kerryon Johnson's 12th carry already.
Get some push. Can't tell from that look if he crossed the line or not. I did notice that Golson, number 73, yes, his ball, the football went across and then it was kicked out. Good job by Kerryon Johnson to reach out and touch the line and break the plane. Impressive drive, 15 plays.
Daniel Carlson has never missed an extra point try. That's 133 in a row.
And remember, it all started after an interception on the other end of it when Georgia tried to steal some points, and it hurt them bad.
Well, that was a pretty impressive drive.
Yeah, it sure was. It does appear that Auburn found new life when Mississippi State upset Texas A&M, because had that not happened, Auburn did not have the tiebreaker with A&M, and now they could feel it. You know, they know they control their own destiny. They win this game, they're going to go into Tuscaloosa with a chance as Vern told you at the beginning, to go to Atlanta.
Carlson will kick off. That will be a touchback for Cole Hardman, number 4. Well, take a look at 2 outstanding Georgia freshmen, separated by a few years.
And almost look exactly alike in their pictures, too, as freshmen, don't they? Yes, you can tell. I mean, Jacob Eason has the tools to throw the ball as close to Matt as we've seen in a long time, especially here at Georgia or even this conference. But can he do it with this elite defense he's facing today? You know, he does not have that great receiver to go to. He's had to depend on tight ends. And as we saw early in the game, they got to be able to run the ball up the middle, right at him.
Toss. Chubb. Out to the 31.
What Nick Chubb does so well is turning a 3 or 4 yard run into a 6 yard run. And that all helps this offense because they do not want to get against this elite pass rushing team into that pass protection scheme. Gets hit, keeps his balance, and dives forward for an extra 2 yards.
And he'll get a rest now as Sonny Michel comes in.
They all might get a rest. I might be the fastest first quarter since we did LSU, Alabama. Oh, that was last week.
7-0. Georgia's had some missed opportunities, especially that 40-yard pass negated by a penalty and the interception by former Bulldog Trey Matthews in the end zone. 7-zip. And a 2nd down and 4 for the Bulldogs. Jacob Eason. Godwin starts in motion to the right side. 4-man Auburn rush. Eason across the middle. Caught by Isaac Nata, 5-star.
I think they knocked it out of him, though.
Oh, did they?
Yes, they did, right at the end.
See, I turned too quick.
Yes, well, you want to be on TV, don't you?
I'm anxious for the on camera. What do you think?
Boy, if I'm Jim Chaney calling plays for Georgia, I've just noticed what Auburn did to my defense, and I'm thinking, how do I manufacture some plays? I've hit a deep pass. I tried to call a halfback pass. I think I need to help my offense. Will it work? Not sure. I know one thing. He does not want to get into a situation where he has to throw on long yard like this. 3rd and short, he's okay.
Yep. Sonny Michel with the 1st down. Pass and catch and a run.
Yeah, as long as he can get the ball in and out of his hands, and this time get Michel one-on-one on the linebackers or safeties, I think he feels good about it. It's those long yardage ones. I just think he says, how do I stay out of 3rd and long? He's calling this whole game thinking about that.
Jim Chaney walked into our meeting yesterday and he said, if we run the ball, we'll win. If we don't, we can't. Goodbye, I'll see you tomorrow.
And that was part of the act, and then he told us some other stuff.
Yes, that's right. Michel breaks a tackle and surges down to the 45 or just inside it. That's a 14-yard.
I do like when they do run it, they attack it quickly. Good block by the outside by Catalina on the outside edge. Isaiah Wynn, number 77, did a really good job, but they are attacking quickly when they run the ball up the middle. Really a good running attack so far early in this game for Georgia.
And a 1st down, Nick Chubb back alongside, well, behind Jacob Eason. Oh boy, not this time. Montravius Adams, who's a stellar defensive talent.
Yeah, it was blown up quickly on the outside. It was going to be a trap power block, but watch it get shut down right away. Bang from the outside by Marlon Davidson, then just eaten up by Montravius Adams. Great defense. Marlon Davidson, a true freshman, took on that block and allowed Adams to make the tackle for the loss.
Loss of 4, 2nd 14. Oops.
That's scary for Nick Chubb right
yes,
there.
He
got grabbed by that leg right as he went. I think it was Davis that ended up just grabbing on Chubb as he went by, and good to see him get up.
Well, a lot of speculation about whether Chubb will return. He told us yesterday he has not made a decision about declaring for the NFL. There was almost an air of resignation in his demeanor.
He did not seem
yesterday.
as bright and happy as we've seen him before.
No. Eason. A lot of time. Stride for stride. Goes deep.
That's going
There's
to
a
be
flag.
interference. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, come on.
That's a catchable ball.
Riley Ridley, and there were two officials looking at it. Javaris Davis.
Well, Javaris Davis knew he was beat. He said, I'll take a 15-yard penalty. He grabs him right there.
Oh
my goodness.
Gosh.
That's
What
a
in
tough
the
one.
world?
I think the official thought that that they caught their feet together, and that's why he fell down, but he was grabbing him. Watch, their feet collide, but he doesn't see him grab him with his left hand. That's a tough call for Georgia.
Cool. Bryce Ramsey on the punt. High. And a fair catch called for and taken.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
Sometimes you can't catch a break. All right, Adam, thank you. And a little controversy here.
Yeah, Vern, you know, we showed the one official, but I thought maybe he could have got a little help here, because look at the deep official right there. He's got his eyes on the play. He could have helped and seen it, that he could have driven it. The back judge could have helped on that one and saw the left hand with the tug.
That's Grantis Bell, the back judge. He had the best view of it, no question. Kerryon Johnson. Crowd still restless over that non-call.
You know, all the fans and us too we're confused a lot about some of these calls, but everybody understands pass interference. There's that one guy here that hasn't had an opinion or booed a pass interference call before.
Sean White split wide right. Kerryon Johnson in the Wildcat. They're going to use this a lot. They'll keep it. Gets a bit of downfield assistance. Maurice Smith.
Well, the Wildcat, Vern, has given this Georgia team trouble. Kentucky used it in their game very effectively as well. And you can see two blockers, a little motion, a lot of screening going on, and all of a sudden, Kerryon Johnson breaks into the secondary.
That's a gain of 13. It's another 10-yard plus running game. Johnson, now this is his 14th carry already. And again, Cameron Petway, the SEC's leading rusher with 1,100 yards, out of the game with a muscle pull. There's Petway. Gotta like what he's seeing from his teammate, Kerryon Johnson. Johnson has 2 games of 100 plus. And here's White. Whoa!
And smartly finished it off without getting hit.
Did he miss the handoff?
No, I don't think so. Well, let's look. No, he was going to keep it. He read this Bellamy on the play. Bellamy had him. He didn't think he could get outside, so he just followed the ball carrier, and then he smartly basically gave himself up. When we watched practice Thursday, he did not throw one pass, still resting that shoulder that kept him out of the first half a week ago.
Here he comes. This is John Franklin, the backup quarterback, known much more for his running ability than passing. Boy, they are moving it at will.
Watch all the window dressing. Motion going one way, guards going the other way. That's what those linebackers have to be disciplined on. You got people running in your face going in both directions, and you have to zero in on that football and stay disciplined when you're a linebacker.
3 wide to the left, now 1 in motion. That's Stove. That pass was low. Little trickeration there.
When we talk about Sean White and even the spots that are in red there, Vern, I mean, 3 for 7 when you're throwing the ball that deep, or 5 for 12, that ain't bad. But you see how efficient he is and why the defenses have to stay honest against him. When you're a running attack and your quarterback can be that efficient, it can work.
Sat out the first half last week with it's believed to be a shoulder injury. And here comes the blitz up the middle. Kerryon Johnson. Ankle tackle by Davin Bellamy.
Well, Raquan Smith, number 3, is the guy that came untouched right up the middle. Watch Smith right here. Nobody touches him. Free run. Sean White gets rid of it, but Bellamy peels off the blitz, takes his man, and the disciplined defense gets a stop and forces a punt.
So it is now 4th and 19. Roquan Smith with the contact at the quarterback position. Isaiah McKenzie. This punt coverage for Auburn is amazing. There have been only 2 punts returned against them all year for -3 yards.
They're not a deep punting team, Vern, so
right.
they settle for the 40-yard punt and not much chance of a return.
None here. I thought Halloween was over. So did he. Tuesday on CBS. He's not a lawyer, but he knows how to win the case. Michael Weatherly stars in TV's #1 new show, Bull. New episode Tuesday after NCIS. Offensive coordinator Jim Chaney.
Yeah, he said he had to be non-emotional calling this game, right? He said, I can't overreact to things that happen. I have to stick to my game plan, and I want to throw later in the game when those pass rushers are a little tired. Early in the game, they're tough, he said.
Jim has been around a time or two. I first met him when he was offensive coordinator at Purdue, your alma mater.
Yeah, Drew Brees' years.
Yeah. First down 10. Out of the spread. Eason flips it out. Ooh, almost dropped. Michelle to the 21-yard line. Stephen Roberts, number 14, made the tackle.
Well, one of the things this Auburn defense does is tackle well in space. And as you saw the double catch by Michelle, and you would probably figure they'd be good at it since they face an offense all year in spring training and practice that runs all these intricate plays. You have to be able to defend the team you're going up against in spring football, and that means you have to tackle in space.
Gain of 2 last play. Eason. Michelle, he's in trouble. Well, got out of trouble. Nice play.
Well, Brandon Camblano right there, the center, snaps the ball, and watch him pull to lead the play. But it was actually Sony Michel that was able to get around Greg Pike's block, number 73, and really make something out of nothing right there.
And another 3rd down opportunity now, a challenge, really.
Yeah, it's at medium. Remember last time he was able to hit the running back out of the backfield. Will they go there, or will Kevin Steele have a different idea how to stop it?
Nick Chubb back on the field. Eason behind Blazevich, but he hangs on. No.
I think he caught it. Yes, he did. And I think it's a first down. Blazevich and Eason were not on the same page here, and Blazevich saved him.
And it's Charlie Warner, number 89, instead of 83.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, it was Warner.
Yeah. His uncle, Scott, great Georgia player, 30 years ago, is going to College Football Hall of Fame.
I'll tell you, right there, that was in this drive, at least a Hall of Fame catch.
Yes. Play action, Eason. Completed. Out to the 33 by Nick Chubb.
You know, Jacob Eason is doing a nice job. He's thrown good deep balls in this game. He's avoided the sacks. He hasn't made the big mistake. He's getting it out of his hand quickly on the short passing game. He's helping that offense stay within the parameters of being able to keep Auburn's defense off the field and march his team.
Now Brian Harrion, number 35, is on the line of scrimmage, top of the screen. Godwin comes near side. Four-man rush. They stunt. Eason with a lot of time. Oh my goodness, he got it. Yeah, that was kind of a rope.
Threw a fastball, didn't he?
Riley Ridley.
That was like watching a third baseman get a ground ball, and he just stutters, and fires it over to first base. And Ridley makes his second great catch of the game. Remember, he had the one-hander, and now he's got the two-toer.
Jacob Eason, Lake Stevens, Washington.
Man, what a throw and what a catch.
Five-star recruit. Last year, he led his team to a 12-1 record. Lost in the state semifinals in 4A ball in Washington. This year, his team is 10-0. Lake Stevens may start the playoffs tonight. Brian Harrion. That'll be second down and 10. The players down.
Yeah, and I think it's the left guard that time, Isaiah Wynn, that's going to be the one that was injured.
Well, they have the medical staff out there, and they'll take care of Isaiah Wynn. We'll step aside. Well, Isaiah Wynn, the injured player, is being assisted into the tent.
Yeah, and again, the pile, this happens all the time to these offensive linemen. See him right there. The pile's going to get him from behind. Locking, doing his job, and then all of a sudden, from behind, the pile hits his left leg.
Dashawn Sims, number 55, is the backup at left guard, and he is on the field. Second down 10, 7-0 the score. Auburn with a 15-play drive. Most of the yards in that 80-yard touchdown drive were on the ground. Eason thus far, 8 of 13 throwing the ball. He's being chased. He's not that elusive. And it's dropped by Isaiah Wynn.
Yeah, but it wasn't a bad drop. I think he might have, Isaiah McKenzie would have maybe caught it and lost yards. This is, again, a good job by Eason to get rid of it and avoid the disastrous play. And it's going to be 3rd and 10.
It was Carl Lawson applying the pressure for Auburn.
And what do? They just bring on more fresh players.
Yeah. Blazevich in motion, number 83. Eason rolling right.
Great coverage.
There's a flag.
Yeah, well.
Wow. Yeah. Joshua Hosley on Riley Ridley.
Yeah.
Riley Ridley.
It's Hosley is the next guy that has to defend a pass in the area where it should have been pass interference.
Number 15. The penalty replaced the ball at the spot of the foul.
Yeah, you see his
automatic first down.
See his left hand. He hooked him from one side and spun the receiver. Pretty easy call, but the crowd remembered the last one as well.
Yeah, there was a bit of sarcasm in that cheer.
Hosley should have known he couldn't get away with anything after one close one was in that same area before.
First down 10 after 30. Georgia trying to equalize. Not much there from Nick Chubb. Well, Jacob Eason, a starter from day one as a freshman. How about Jalen Hurts with a huge day?
It was, and I kind of figured he'd have a big passing game after he didn't throw much the week before, but what a week for true freshman quarterbacks in this league, and the red shirt is gone from Shea Patterson, a 5-star recruit at Ole Miss because Chad Kelly goes down, but 4 true freshmen starting in the SEC.
Blitz, Eason goes to the corner, got a man, overthrows it.
Yeah, you just got to pick out a spot, though. When you're getting that kind of pressure, he had no choice but to get rid of the football, and he did it well. He knows it, he feels it, knows it's coming, and you get a big hit from Adams, number 1, Montravius Adams, and you just got to let it go. Avoid a sack.
Jonathan Ford was defending, but almost no chance.
Yep, it'd be almost lucky to hit one of those. You got to throw it, pick a spot, 25 yards downfield, and let it go.
Third and 7. Eason. Oh, that might have taken him out of field goal range. Lawson and Montravius Adams. Montravius Adams, watch him come off the line of scrimmage with a spin move right from the start to win. Watch this move. Spin inside. He's beat. He's into the quarterback, and Carl Lawson finishes the quarterback on the play. And as you say, so far back that Georgia has to decide whether they want to go for it or not. It would be a 52-yard field goal. Rodrigo Blankenship has hit 9 in a row, but his longest of the season is 49.
And that one hurt, because not only were you getting spun down by Adams, but Carl Lawson finished it.
Well, let's see.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to put the punter in. They took a delay of game.
Yeah, sure did.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
So Kirby Smart has opted to go with Bryce Ramsey again, the regular punter. Marshall Long suffered a knee injury in practice this week. Now Ramsey has, prior to this game, punted 3 times. He listed as the number 3 quarterback for Georgia.
Marcus Davis, the punt returner here, has to be careful not to back up an inch. He's on the 10 now.
He moves up.
Wow, perfect.
And the ball goes over his head. And Malcolm Parrish is there to make the catch. And the ball is down, perfectly executed.
Well, I think this was the great strategy by Georgia. They weren't going to kick a deep field goal. Auburn plays defense safe, and they allows the stop inside the 3-yard line.
We'll take a break. Ramsey, good effort. From the 2, Auburn. They've already rushed for 113 yards. Under 4 to go. Quick flip. Got loose. Tony Stevens.
Well, offensive coordinator for Auburn calling the plays now. Starting with the LSU game, Rhett Lashley has taken over. In the first couple games when they started 1 and 2, this Auburn offense had 27 tackles for losses against Clemson and Texas A&M. They went to Lashley, and it's becoming more under control. He's calling a good ball game, and he's using Sean White. Remember early in the year against Clemson, they used all 3 quarterbacks. Then it became Sean White's offense.
Rhett Lashley goes a long way back with Gus Malzahn. He was a quarterback for Gus when Gus was a high school coach in Arkansas.
Look at how Georgia is slowing down Auburn by subbing. Anytime Auburn subs, Georgia does as well.
Play action to it. White got him. 3rd down coming up.
Great coverage that time. Sean White was trying to get a play-action pass. A lot of motion, a lot of ball handling, nothing there. And he had to run out of the pocket and take the sack. But you know why? Nothing downfield. Everybody's blanketed. Might have late been able to get one to the outside, but by that time, Sean White was running for his life.
2:40 to go. Jonathan Ledbetter with the sack. It's 3rd and 13.
See how Georgia always substitutes. Anytime Auburn does, so does Georgia.
Hand it off. No. 4th down. Georgia has used one of its timeouts earlier in the game.
One of those young defensive linemen, David Marshall, also helped Trenton Thompson. Number 51 helped 78. Watch 51. Whoa. Slow him down. And then Trenton Thompson makes the tackle. Good team defensive line work that time.
It's going to bring on Kevin Phillips. Isaiah McKenzie in his career has 4 punt returns for touchdowns. And again,
perfect punt.
Is it ever?
He's not a deep punter. He's very accurate, puts it in that 30 to 40-yard range, and it's really hard to get a return.
Now let's take a look at the Dr. Pepper SEC Conference standings. And we'll take you first to the West. Alabama, huge win today. Auburn is 9th ranked, and again, to set the scenario, if Auburn were to beat Georgia today and then defeat Alabama in Tuscaloosa in 2 weeks, it would be Auburn going to the championship game. It's a somewhat formidable task to beat Alabama anywhere, but especially in Tuscaloosa.
Well, Jim Chaney has a couple timeouts left and great field position. He comes out and empty. How will he trust his young quarterback?
See what Auburn has in mind defensively. They stunt. Eason is sacked. That's what
Gotta
they got.
get rid of the ball. At this point, Jacob Eason has to understand, especially on first down, if it's not there right away, get rid of it. You know you're getting overwhelmed up front.
Lawson and Montravius Adams.
Yeah,
There's Adams, number 1.
Yeah, Montravius Adams is the monster in this game. No one is coming close to handling his pass rush. Might be doing a decent job in the running game against them, but Gilliard, number 53, has his hands full in the passing game.
Eason, deep right side, overthrows Ridley. Let's take a look at what Montravius Adams has done today.
Well, not only is he a load at size at 310, but his athletic ability to move and get off the ball reminds you of Nick Fairley up there the way he's playing. I've seen a lot of draft reports, have not seen him as a first-round draft pick, but he may be playing his way up there because right now, that's as good as you can do it up front.
Up the middle, 3rd down. That's going to leave it 4th. And a punting situation.
Surprised Auburn doesn't take a timeout here and force Georgia into making a decision.
1 minute to go.
Nope, they're going to stay with it. 4th down.
Yeah. Well, Eason stays in the game.
And you watch, Georgia will bleed the whole thing out and just punt the ball.
Still 14 on the play clock.
Pretty surprised that Gus Malzahn didn't force Georgia's hand here by calling a timeout. Now with 30 seconds left, Kirby Smart might be tempted to go for it. I wouldn't. I'd punt it. 7-0 game. Get it to the second half. Go in at halftime with no disasters if I was Kirby.
.29 seconds to go first half. 7-zip. Auburn. As soon as we get to the half, we'll go back to our New York studio for the Geico halftime report with Adam, Rick, and Brian.
Brian? We got a new guy there?
I got the memo.
Well, let's
Brian.
go back to the last play right here. Gus Malzahn, it was 1:11 when this play ended. Gus walks, thinks, I thought if he would have took a timeout, you would have even had an opportunity of block punt or something. One more chance to score. Remember, Auburn gets the ball to start the second half.
Bryce Ramsey on the punt, which he has done very effectively here in the first half.
Auburn put no one back. They played totally safe that time. They're going to get out of the half. They're going to take a knee. 7-0 going into halftime.
Tomorrow, now that Donald Trump is the president-elect, he's going to do one big interview. Where? Where else? 60 Minutes tomorrow, only CBS. So the ball at the 9 with 17 seconds remaining. Interesting decision by Gus Malzahn.
Well, considering, what's happened to Georgia here in this half. An interception in the end zone, 3 sacks. I think they go in at halftime saying, hey, 7-0 ball game against Auburn, we got to be happy with that. Auburn has shown they could run their offense when they get it going, but Kirby's defense has done well. Good football game.
The 1 touchdown, 15-play, 80-yard drive Kerryon Johnson scored it. Now time for Inside Access, presented by AT&T, official sponsor of the SEC. Here's Allie with Gus Malzahn.
Coach, the guys in the booth wondering, why'd you let the clock bleed down and not call a timeout?
Well, we were
there?
thinking they were going to go for it, and so I didn't want to give them any time. We're up 7-0. We get the ball coming out, and that's the reason.
Coach, in the first half, you were able to run the ball consistently, but just 25 yards through the air. How would you like to see that balance change, if at all, in the second half?
Well, we do. We need to make some plays through the air, there's no doubt. But we got to run the football, too. And our defense is playing great. We just need to score a few more times.
Georgia was able to make a few big plays through the air in the first half. They didn't capitalize on them, but how do you prevent those in the second half?
Well, our defense did a great job once they got in the red zone. And they've been doing that all year, and we need to do that continue in the second half.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you, Allie.
Yeah, I think the big plays was it, down the sideline. That's about the whole offense, and the no call was another big part of it.
See a haze here in Georgia. There are forest fires in the northern mountains of this state, and it's been a little bit like that for 2 or 3 days. 7-0. Are you surprised at the closeness of the score?
Yes, Georgia's been playing good defense lately. They do well against the run, and I figured this was one of those games where everything in this game was Georgia. They wanted this football game really bad, and Auburn wants to get to Alabama, so it's a little bit of a trap game. And remember, this is only the third road game for Auburn this year. They still in the SEC. They still have to play at the end of their schedule here in Georgia, and of course in Tuscaloosa to finish off the season.
Well, Auburn will get the ball to open the second half.
I guess the other surprise is how gray my hair is. I was watching the dancing there.
I hope you concur with me that we're not doing that again.
I mean, it's really not, as you look here, let's go. One of the teams that really emphasize going fast is Auburn. They had 32 opportunities. Of course, you can't go fast on the first play. 16 times they either substituted, and we talked about how good Georgia did against their substituting. They decided to go slow 5 times. They only went fast 6 times, all rushes, 5 of them by Kerryon Johnson. It really, except for that one drive, has not been a factor. Georgia has done a great job against the tempo offense of Auburn.
Kerryon Johnson has run it now. Play fake and dropped behind the line. That was Chandler Cox.
Well, I think the question that Allie asked Gus of, listen, you got to help your team out with a little bit of the passing game. They decided to come right out with it and try to loosen up the Georgia defense. We showed you that passing chart by Sean White. When he's effective, he's accurate. He was accurate there. They dropped it.
White has to throw it left, and he misfires trying to connect with Kerryon Johnson. Reggie Carter had the pressure on the play, and it's 3rd and 10.
Yeah, and again, nowhere to throw the ball. Plenty of time to throw this one. Where do you throw it? Nothing there. He had to dump it off, as Vern said. Reggie Carter made the play.
Late ad offensively. 3rd down 10. First series, 3rd quarter.
Well, Georgia continued to blitz. Remember, before they did. This time, no.
White. Intercepted. Picked off by Maurice Smith. Convoy. Touchdown, Georgia.
Maurice Smith has been having a great season for Georgia. The transfer from Alabama gets a knot, and it doesn't count for Alabama.
That's right. Non-offensive touchdown.
Pick 6 to start it with the whole second half. How about that?
Here is Rodrigo Blankenship, a walk-on field goal kicker.
I'll show you what Sean White saw. He did not stay with his read. He guessed. He got one look, and then he stopped. Watch Smith go out and then come back in. He thinks he's going to go out. He stops, and he gets right in front of the defender. A misread by Sean White. It costs him big time, and Auburn big time.
How about that for the start to the third quarter? We are tied 7-7. Our season finale will take place December 10th in Baltimore. The annual meeting of Army-Navy presented by USAA. It's something that we all look forward to. A wonderful traditional game and great respect among the institutions. Army playing Notre Dame today and not doing very well.
Boy, the haze makes that setting sun something different.
That something?
It's about how red hot Gus Malzahn is. Interesting first series for Auburn. 3 straight pass plays.
Boom. And now our scholar athlete presented by Quicken Loans. On your left, Alex Kozan, graduated from Valor Christian High School in Denver, and Jeb Blazevich for the Georgia Bulldogs, both with GPAs north of 3 points. Quicken Loans' commitment to the investment of our future is shown today by donating $1,000 to Auburn and Georgia's General Scholarship Fund.
Georgia has 18 players on the field adjusting to whatever formation Auburn brings out.
Well, you see the rushing leaders per game. Here's Kerryon Johnson going to the left. Most of these running teams from the academies.
Right.
New Mexico leading the way.
And if you look at it, and that's what's so shocking about the 3 straight pass plays, these are the running teams, and Auburn makes their bread and butter running the ball.
Eli Stove coming to the right, and that's going to be short of the first down at the 32, maybe the 33. Lorenzo Carter caught up with him.
I know that goes down as a pass, but obviously it's a running play for the defense to stop. More like it. Big play for this Auburn offense right now as they substitute for third and medium. And so does Georgia.
Cameron Petway, leading rusher in the SEC, unable to go today. He is on the sidelines in the cities. 3rd and 2. Blitz. Got him. Reggie Carter got there first.
And again, no one touched him. Auburn completely unable to pick up the middle linebacker blitz. Watch this. No one on him. Complete whiff. Hard to run a good offense if you don't account for the middle linebacker. And that time, the blitz attack by Mel Tucker, defensive coordinator, and Kirby Smart's defense grabs him again. You have to believe the familiarity of Kirby with this offense is starting to pay off a bit.
Kevin Phillips with the punt. McKenzie backs up. Fair catch. Still no returns in this game for Isaiah McKenzie. 44-yard punt. Nothing on the return. Reggie Carter untouched. Sean White down. Coverage today provided by Goodyear. For 60 years, Goodyear has provided aerial coverage of college football's greatest traditions and biggest rivalries. Sanford Stadium on the campus of the University of Georgia.
Well, let's see if Georgia can handle those 2 tackles. Russell and Adams have given them fits inside number 1 and number 95.
Toss. Chubb. And let's check in with Allie LaForce.
Vernon, Gary, Joshua Holsey's dealing with a left knee injury. They started working on it right before halftime. They had him laying on the ground. He looked like he was in pain. They were stretching out the left knee. Then when the team came back out after the half, he was riding the bicycle. He's been limping up and down the sideline, jogging, trying to get back in this game, but it's not looking good. And you do know that he has dealt with ACL and knee injuries in the past, tearing 2 in 1 year. So we hope he's okay.
He's had 2 knee surgeries and was one of the heroes of the last 2 wins with game-saving interceptions in each. Oh, boy. Nothing there.
Look at the penetration inside again by Montrevious Adams, number 1. It just ruins the play. Nothing happened. You get that guy inside so much like that it just destroys the blocking angles for everyone else. There's just no cohesive blocking when you get that type of penetration inside.
3rd down and 4. Sonny Michel in the backfield now. The pitch, Michel. A really nice
Great
tackle.
play.
Deshaun Davis.
Sure is.
Oh.
Remember, Deshaun Davis was thrown out of last week's game in the first quarter. Watch him run down this play and just knock Sonny Michel out. It was a one-on-one play. He had to make it. If not, it's an easy first down. He was the only guy for Auburn that could have made the play.
That brings on Bryce Ramsey. He is on as the punter in place of the injured Marshall Long. Marcus Davis is the deep man. This is a short kick, fair catch called for, and taken at the 31. 33-yard punt. 7-7, 3rd quarter. Seven in the 3rd, and now a taste of tradition presented by Sonic. For more, here's Allie.
Hey, Vern, believe it or not, the most common nickname among NCAA Division I schools is Bulldogs. But of the 15 universities that carry the name, perhaps none are as rooted in American history as the University of Georgia. Its first president was Abraham Baldwin, one of 2 Georgia delegates to sign the United States Constitution. Baldwin was also an alumnus of Yale, a school that also shares the name Bulldogs. Well, over time, the name stuck with Georgia largely as a special ode to the university's history and its first president. Learn something new every day, Vern.
Indeed, and in Division III football, Allie, of course, it's the Texas Lutheran Bulldogs. There he is. Sonny Seiler and his wife provide the UGA. Kerryon Johnson again. This is his 17th carry in the ball game. And again, if you did join us late,
Watch how Auburn is going to try to force fast football here to try to take Georgia out of their defense.
That's short of the first down. Kerryon Johnson.
And of course, the big fear of all these tempo teams is turning it over a 3 and out on fast football, because your defense to go right back on the field. And again, watch Auburn. They will substitute now and have to go slow.
3rd and 3. White incomplete.
Dropped it. Had a chance. It was not a perfect throw, but no catch on the play. Ryan Davis had a chance to make the play and get a first down. A bit of an inaccurate throw. Could have easily been caught. I don't think it was tipped. No, hit him right in the shoulders.
Yeah.
Got to make that catch. I tried to help out the receiver. Give a little criticism, but it can't throw it much better than that.
Agreed.
Yes.
So Phillips is on. We had an interception on the first series and a couple of 3 and outs. Phillips, so that's his best of the night. Longest of the night. Fair catch.
Man, that was a late fair catch.
Well, it sure was.
Signal, wasn't it?
That's a 50-yard punt. Nothing on the return. Again. Time call. Now, Tennessee has the tiebreaker over Florida, and Georgia trying to win here to right the ship. and playing a very competitive game thus far.
Yeah, one of the stories early was the 3 quarterbacks that Auburn used in that opening game against Clemson. One of the stories not told in that Clemson game was how good their defense shut down that Clemson offense and Deshaun Watson. You're seeing they're a legit defense.
On first down, Eason goes under center, tosses it back to Nick Chubb. Chubb round the corner. Oh, it's good to see him run well. Uh-oh.
This has been an effective first down play for Georgia. They pin the defense and pull the tackle. Watch, block down and pull the tackle around Greg Pike. Getting to the outside, good block, and then Nick Chubb makes the rest of the run on his own. They've used that play on first down at least 4 times in this game, very successful.
That was a gain of 15. Sony Michel in the backfield now to get Chubb a rest. He's got Chubb 59 yards on 12 carries. It's Michel. No. Maurice Swain Jr., number 90.
Well, they play about 8 or 9 defensive linemen, and I do believe they're the only defensive line in the SEC that can come close to Alabama's talent. They've got difference makers in Lawson and Adams, and they have the depth to substitute and not have any drop-off, or at least minimal drop-off.
Second down 10, no gain on the last. Under 9 to go, third quarter. Eason. Contact, yes. We even got 2 flags that time. Carlton Davis was the first man there.
Well, Carlton Davis does not get a lot of opportunities. He's their best cover corner. You've seen all the throws go down.
Defense number 6. The penalty will place the ball at the spot of the foul and includes an automatic first down.
For most of the game, Carlton Davis is wishing somebody would throw the ball at him. Finally, he gets one, and a little too anxious.
So first down, Georgia's 7-7 ball game.
All the deep throws, as you remember, have gone down the right side, not to Carlton Davis's left side.
Chubb in the backfield. Reverse. Riley Ridley. That's another first down.
Ball's out. Looked right at he ended up holding it. It looked like everybody was reacting to a fumble at the end of the play, and I think he got it himself.
Montavious Atkinson.
Again, Georgia finding ways to try to keep this. Yes, the ball was out, but recovered quickly on the play. Ball was out and caught midair.
Ridley got the ball back in his midsection. Blitz. And it's been a while since it's been at least a week since we had the duck mid-screen. The Aflac trivia question of the week. Beside Auburn and Athens, which 5 cities have been a site for the Deep South's oldest rivalry? Tough one. I think it's tough.
Well, you got to answer 5.
5, yeah, I know. But the way I messed up last week's apple, I'm out of it. Into the flat, Isaiah McKenzie. .7:33 to go in the third. 7-7. Auburn's first half touchdown at the end of an 80-yard drive, 15 plays. And Georgia's touchdown, an interception on the first series of the third quarter by Maurice Smith, who strolled in for a touchdown. Third down 4. Eason.
Way up in the air.
Whoa. Dontavius Russell.
Everybody for Auburn that time played the sticks. It was 3rd and 5. They felt Georgia was going to throw a short pass, and Russell That ball had to go up 20 yards in the air that time.
Leaving a lot of opportunity to grab it out of the air. Bryce Ramsey on the punt.
God, that ball was up in the air a long time. This game has the feel of last year's game when both offenses struggled. Neither one got 300 yards in the game, and Bryce Ramsey does it exactly what Vern said.
Well, look at here. Take 3 of we don't need a committee. Take us through this.
These 4 teams control their destiny. Now, everybody at Ohio State, settle down, big guys, okay? Auburn and Wisconsin are next. If they win out, win their championships of their conference, I think they're in. Ohio State needs Michigan to win tonight. If they do, Ohio State will control their own destiny. These 2 teams at the end, Louisville and Penn State, even if they win out, I still think they're going to need committee help to make it. A lot of help.
4th Auburn possession of the 3rd quarter.
That's it. Nobody needs to fly in and do anything else from the committee.
No.
Done.
It's good to have you as a resource. You know.
Thanks to all the guys in the truck. We only worked on that for about 4 days and a couple hours today to get that thing correct.
6 yards on first down. Forward down to Georgia. Blitz coming from the outside linebacker. Roquan Smith was there and Davin Bellamy.
Yes, and again, the middle of that defensive line for Georgia is just getting a standoff. They're putting their hands on the offensive lineman for Auburn and just holding right there. They're not trying to make tackles. They're letting everybody else come and make tackles. It takes great discipline not to try to be the star, but that's their job in this game. Third, a stalemate.
And 2. White backs up, fires it.
That could have been picked off right there.
Indeed. DeAndre Baker.
Well, Sean White, as I said before, has been not able to practice full go, and it may be catching up with him because he is not having the efficient game throwing the ball that he had when his hot streak was going on. That was a good 4 or 5 yards behind the receiver and should have been intercepted.
Kevin Phillips to punt. That's another 3 and out for Auburn in this half.
We all need to practice. It doesn't feel like it, you know, but when you're a quarterback, you're just taking those days off and not getting the reps. It really adds up.
McKenzie, it'll scoot right by him and limp to a stop at the 21, perhaps the 22. Well, Duck didn't get off stage for very long. Let's get him back on here. You got to be a real Auburn or Georgia fan to get this one right. Atlanta, Columbus, Macon, Savannah, and Montgomery. Those are the 5 cities other than Auburn and Athens where this rivalry has played out. First down 10, Georgia. Eason up under center again. Around the corner, Chubb. Thrown out of bounds.
Nice patience, great vision by Nick Chubb this time. Get a stalemate up front, bounces outside, and then turns the corner. And again, as Ali told you, he's not really 100%. I always think these knees are a 2-year injury. And considering how severe his was, it's amazing to watch him play football. But let's hope he gets back all 100% because he was one of the elite football players in all of college football. And look at that. No brace, no nothing.
Yeah. Pretty healthy scar, you can see. Chubb now 70 yards on 14 carries. Eason pops it. Isaac Nauta, the tight end.
We talked about getting the ball in and out of your hands fast, especially on first down. Remember when he had that sack earlier on first down? He had an opportunity on that one to throw a short pass or throw it away. Learning step by step, learning to keep that offense at least in neutral position and not going in reverse.
10 of 19 for 170 now for Eason. He did have a 40-yard completion called back because of the penalty. Chubb probing, and might be enough for the first.
Well, this defense by Auburn, coordinated this year by Kevin Steele. I don't know the cities for this matchup, but I do know in the last 6 years, Auburn has had 5 different defensive coordinators. Kevin Steele this year, Will Muschamp, Ellis Johnson, Brian Van Gorder, and Ted Roof. 5 in the last 6 years.
That is extraordinary. Here, they are going to measure here. First down.
That's a win for the CBS yellow line right there, don't you think?
Yes. Kirby Smart, Georgia grad.
Yeah, Kirby Smart's ecstatic with this. Remember, he played it safe at half. He punted, got the turnover and a touchdown, and he could, his hope, get this game into the fourth quarter. Georgia stole it last year with an Isaiah McKenzie punt return. I think he'd be ecstatic to get to the fourth quarter this year with a football game.
Ball is at 42. 0-3. Eason. Got a gun. Jeb Blazevich with this catch. Remember that Eason was recruited by Mark Richt out of Lake Stevens, a 5-star recruit, top quarterback prospect. And then Mark Richt was fired, wound up at Miami. And they had to re-recruit Jacob Eason. He did make a trip down to Florida. Kirby Smart made a trip to Lake Stevens and got the commitment renewed. First year. Well, let's see if we can get that into the stands.
One of the things that Jim Chady, the offensive coordinator, remember, he coached Drew Brees at Purdue, has been trying to tell Jacob is just give me a neutral. Just give me nothing on some of these plays. I don't want the negatives. That's what he asked for right there. If I call a play that's not there, just get it back. If it was 2nd and 5, give me 3rd and 5. And that time he got it.
7-7 game. 3:03 to go, third quarter. Werner, backup tight end, was in motion man. Eason got him. First down. Isaac Nauta, the freshman tight end, 6'4", 248 with another huge catch, 17 yards.
Well, if you're playing man-to-man, you run the pick plays. Slot picks for Nauta, forces the defense to come underneath it. Easy first down. Design play, everybody has it. You just got to have the guts to throw it to those tight ends. They are so valuable against that man coverage.
First down at the 35. Blitz again. Michelle goes right, doesn't get anything.
Well, here's the part of the field that Gus Malzahn told Allie at half that he's so proud of his defense. They've been doing it all year. When a team gets near that scoring zone, they don't let them get down there. They're right at that field goal edge right now in a tie game. Let's see if the Auburn defense can keep Georgia out of field goal range. Yep, here we go.
Boy.
All start. Offense, number 53. 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
That's Lamont Gilliard, the right guard.
can see him right there barely. A little movement by Auburn shifting, and that drew Gilliard to attack before the snap. Will Kevin Steele attack now with a blitz, or will he just make a four-man rush? Four.
Little flip.
Come on, man.
Isaiah McKenzie. Kind of dropped at the 34.
Yeah, by the old Georgia teammate.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was a teammate of Isaiah McKenzie, but he was a teammate of some of these Georgia Bulldogs. He's got an interception and a clean open field tackle. We talked about how good Auburn does it. Trey Matthews, who struggled a year ago with those shoulder problems, had surgery on both shoulders, come back healthy, is the quarterback of that defense.
It's 3rd down and 9. Eason. Got him. Riley Ridley.
Well, Eason felt the pressure and he threw it falling away, but he has such of arm strength that he gunned it in there, and then Ridley fell forward for the first down, picking up that first down. Remember, it was, what, 2nd and 15, and they picked it up?
Yes, it was.
10th play of this drive.
Oh, dear. Chubb goes back.
Still alive.
They're still scrambling for it.
Chubb missed it, and then I think Eason got it. So Kirby Smart will get out of the 3rd quarter, but not the way he wanted to get out of the 3rd quarter, because that was a bad snap and almost a disaster.
Brandon Cablano is the center.
That ball never made it 6 inches off the ground, did it?
No. That is the end of 3. Sanford Stadium in Athens. 7-7. We'll return to Athens right after this message and a word from your local station. Looks like Christmas all of a sudden. We begin the 4th. Sanford Stadium in Athens. Vern Lundquist, Gary Danielson, Allie LaForce. A game tied at 7. And after that 14-yard loss on the bad snap, 2nd down and 24. Into the flat. Michelle reverses field. It's going to be 3rd down. Well, we saw the stats, Gary, as we went to break. I think the most surprising thing is the productivity of the Georgia defense in the 3rd quarter.
4 series for Auburn, 4 3-play series. I think they missed Cameron Petway big time. Cameron Petway has carried the ball for Auburn 100 times on 1st down for 600 yards. They do not have that 1st down back, and they miss his power in this football game. 20 carries for Kerryon Johnson. They don't have anybody else.
Michelle limped off. Here's Eason into the flat. And that's going to set up.
And it'll be about 45, 46-yard field goal.
Yep. And the kicker is Rodrigo Blankenship. There's Sony Michel, who limped off. Now, Blankenship missed his first field goal. He replaced a young man named William Ham. He's now hit 9 in a row. Take a look. He's got the specs on. This from 45 to give Georgia the lead. Jacob Eason is the holder. Rodrigo Blankenship. Could be. Got it!
Got a new folk hero here, don't we? And this was dead straight. Beautiful shot.
Rodrigo Blankenship has now hit 10 in a row.
And now it's time for our Geico game recap.
Cameron Petway, leading rusher in the SEC, out of the game today with a leg injury. That's left most of the running to Kerryon Johnson. Auburn scored first, a 15-play drive. Johnson got it by reaching the ball over the goal line, 7-0. Georgia shut out first half at home for the first time since 2009. And in the third quarter, first series, Maurice Smith picks off. Sean White takes it all the way in for the score to tie the game at 7. And then moments ago, Rodrigo Blankenship from 45. And the Bulldogs have the lead by 3.
And talking about missing Petway, this offense for Auburn is built around tempo, misdirection, play action passes, and remember what I start with, physical football, and that's what they're missing. The running back with the physical part. Remember Peyton Barber last year. Without Petway, it's really leaning on Kerryon Johnson, who's really nicked with an ankle himself and maybe not even 100%. And the next leading carrier has 2 carries. 20 by Johnson and 2 by the second leading rusher.
There's Blankenship, drills it. And it's a touchback. Monday on an all-new Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Don't miss Senator Bernie Sanders plus Eddie Redmayne. Followed by an all-new James Corden Monday, only CBS.
Well, as Auburn trots out here for the fourth quarter with their offense, remember 4 straight 3-play series. In the fourth quarter, they've trailed twice in this 6-game winning streak to LSU and to Ole Miss. Won them both in the fourth quarter, obviously.
Sean White, now 4 of 12 for 19 yards. Goes deep, incomplete. Well, let's go to Adam Zucker for an Advocare update.
All right, Vern, it's been blowout city in the Big Ten. For number 7, Wisconsin, Corey Clement getting his 3rd touchdown of the day here. The Badgers will move into first place alone for the moment with a win. Nebraska and Minnesota coming up tonight, and Ohio State by an even bigger margin, 55-3 in the 3rd on Maryland. Back to you.
Adam, thank you. 10-7 Georgia here. Early moments, fourth quarter. Here's White, batted down again. That's Trenton Thompson.
Six offensive linemen in the game. That tight end is actually a tackle right there to the outside, Braden Smith. And this time Trenton Thompson says no way.
Can it be 5 series of 3 plays?
And if they throw again here, it'll be the second time that they've thrown 3 passes in a row. The first to start the third quarter, and maybe the first to start the fourth quarter.
Defensive switch, blitz coming up the middle. Sean White off his back heel. I think we're going to have holding.
And he's very lucky he didn't throw that another 1.5 yards, or it would have been an interception as well. Another blitz up the middle.
Holding.
Another
Offense
pressure
from
up the
63.
middle.
That penalty is declined. 4th down.
That time it was Aaron Davis, the safety, coming right up the guard center gap, and Sean White just got rid of it.
And that's 5 series now of 3 plays.
I would not be surprised if Gus Malzahn is contemplating putting in John Franklin. He may need another runner. He's down to 1 runner as an attack, and it's not working.
Kevin Phillips to punt. McKenzie, who broke this game and won it for Georgia last year with a punt return for a touchdown. Nice and high. McKenzie tries to get outside. Now cuts it upfield. What a marvelous return for Isaiah McKenzie.
He was waiting for his chance, wasn't he? This ball was just deep enough for him to take the opportunity.
Longest punt return by an Auburn opponent this year. That one for 20. Well, there was a ceremony at the first time out back in the first half to welcome back Hines Ward under the arches. First time back since he graduated. There's the hug between Hines Ward and Kirby Smart. They were teammates. And he's better than you and me.
Yes, for sure. He was a running back in '94. His teammate Terrell Davis, 2 Super Bowl MVPs in the same backfield that year for Georgia.
Eason fires it low, caught. Terry Godwin.
About Hines Ward, he started as a running back, moved to quarterback, played wide receiver the last 2 years for Georgia.
Pretty talented.
Yep.
Second down. Josh Holsey. Let's see, is he back on the field? I don't. Yes, he is. Top of the screen. Josh Holsey saved the last 2 wins for Auburn with interceptions. Eason. Got him!
Man.
Isaiah McKenzie.
You just don't have a lot of time to make up space when Eason has a chance to step into it. A little bit of a wheel route, and watch how fast the ball gets there. Bang. Even though there's a safety back there to make the play, the ball travels too fast. That's an NFL-style throw right there. And Javaris Davis had no chance. Even though he was there, the ball got there too fast.
Gain of 26 and a first down at the 30. They fake the reverse. Down the middle. Whoa.
A half second late and almost intercepted. Javaris Davis did not have the last one, but he anticipated this one. This ball is ripped in, but Davis is running for it the whole way. Even before Jacob Eason warms up to throw it, Davis had a beat on it.
Missed opportunity.
Yeah, he had a chance. They bumped together, and a step back to try to catch it by the Georgia receiver that time saved an interception.
Second down, 10.
Let's see how they can get it to 3rd and medium. They try it, yes, run the ball.
Well, Josh Holsey is back on the field. It seems appropriate this Veterans Day weekend to salute his father. That's his dad, Jonathan, his mom, Marilyn to the left. Jonathan Holsey, a war veteran for the Army, lost a leg. It was amputated as a result. He was injured as a result of an IED explosion. He has run the New York City Marathon. And right now he'd like to run after Greg Pike.
Offense number 73.
But there's an American hero for you.
3rd down.
Again, Georgia has been down in the zone. Remember the bad snap at the end of the 3rd quarter? And now a penalty to Greg Pike, number 73. Kirby goes, oh. So many things have to go right for us to upset Auburn. And when you make mistakes before the snap, that's the toughest one.
3rd down, 13. Out of bounds, Terry Godwin with the catch.
Yeah, interesting call right there.
Sure was.
I don't even know, is it close enough to go field goal? Yes, they are.
They are going to.
He made it by plenty last time.
Hear the rumble of the crowd already. Rodrigo Blankenship. He's from Marietta, Georgia, not too far down the road, a suburb of Atlanta. This would equal his season high, thus his career high, of 49 yards. Eason will hold. Trent Fricks It's on the way, and it is no good. So the streak is ended.
Yeah, that play call just wasn't enough. They needed another 5 yards on that completion. The penalty actually ended the drive. Just not enough. 5 yards short.
Ouch. Auburn gets the ball back after Blankenship misses from 49.
Yeah, grab a stat here, Vern, in the second half. It's ugly. 5 possessions for Auburn in the second half. You can see the first one was an interception on 3rd down, and then nothing after that. Sean White is 0 for his last 8 passes.
He is 4 for 15 in the game for a total of 19 yards. Hand off, left guard. Carry on Johnson with the carry, and let's go to Allie LaForce.
Vern, Chandler Cox is dealing with a left knee injury. They just taped it up and put a brace on it. He's jogging down the sideline. They're going to try to get him in as soon as possible.
Hand off Johnson again. Trenton Thompson with the tackle.
It really feels like Georgia has a feel for the offense. Without having a running quarterback or the power of Petway, right now Georgia's having no problem with this offense.
Johnson has carried 22 times. Truitt has carried twice. And then you've got Stowe, Cox, and Franklin with 1 each. Blitz. White has to get rid of it, and it's incomplete.
He had to get rid of it early. You're correct. And I thought it should have been caught, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I do too.
The receiver that time just did not handle the ball in the air. Had a chance, Cam Martin, and he just didn't catch it. He got it. Just keep running right through the football, and it would have been a big first down for Auburn.
And guess what? Another 3 and out.
Sean White did a great job of getting rid of that ball and picking a spot because he was under huge duress.
McKenzie had a 20.
They got a sneak play at the top of the field. There's a player on the field.
Nobody's covering him.
Oh, my.
Oh, brother. Here's Phillips and a fair catch. Oh, it hit him. It hit him on the back of the calf.
Yeah, but
there's a flag.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, shockingly, Auburn put an extra player out. He ran off and then came back on. Watch the Auburn player run off the field.
Interference with opportunity to catch a kick. Defense for 19. The penalty is 15 yards. The spot of the foul. First down.
The whole Georgia crowd knew he was wide open, but for whatever reason, even though Auburn had him, they decided not to throw the ball to him.
Well, interference with the opportunity to make a fair catch. T.J. Davis, number 13. Well, we've got something brewing here. It's 10-7 with 9:13 to go. Tonight on CBS begins with NCIS Los Angeles and NCIS New Orleans, followed by a new edition of 48 Hours Tonight, only CBS.
One more look. Auburn only had 10 men on the field right here. Carlton Davis comes out late. It was not a fake call at all. They just did not have enough men on the field, and Carlton Davis comes out late. The punter never even saw him. It was just not enough men on the field, and instead of a 10-man punt, he ended up being 11 at the last second. Well, I do not know, honestly, if he would have been eligible. He barely came on late like that.
Here's the toss on first down. It's Chubb, and let's go back and take a look at the standings in the West.
Seemed like an illegal substitution to me, but I do not know.
Auburn must win to retain any hope of getting to Atlanta. If Auburn loses this game, Alabama is the SEC West champion. Auburn has to win this one.
Well, I can tell you right now, if I was Gus Malzahn, I would try something different. Sean White might take him down the next drive, but I would try John Franklin and try a few running plays next time I get the ball back with the quarterback. Try to break up the momentum of the game.
8.5 to go. Sweep right. Isaiah McKenzie. He's going to bring up third down. 10-7.
Well, the Auburn defense now played so well this whole game. Remember, they've only given up a field goal the whole game. They could use a stop. Their offense is struggling. They need to help them and give them some good field position.
See that? 24 total yards for Auburn in this half. There's Sean White.
Now, misalignment by this Auburn team. They've got trouble to the left.
Toss.
There it is.
Chubb. He's got two blockers in front. He's across the 50.
They had trouble to the left. You could tell it. It felt like Hank Stram there. Completely did not have the leverage to their right side of their defense. Look at right here. All these blockers and no one out there for Auburn. Perfect call for this Georgia offense, and it was an easy big play for Georgia.
Well, for those of you who are younger, the late Hank Stram used to work radio in the NFL when he wasn't doing television. He worked with the late Jack Buck, and he would say, they got something going on the left.
To the left.
They got something going on the left.
Well, that time I was right, because Buck used to say, run to the right.
Good block at the line of scrimmage.
Oh, great running there by Sony Michel. Michel and Chubb both asked for a meeting with offensive coordinator Jim Chaney. They said, come on, we're good football players. We got to get the ball more than we're getting it. And Jim Chaney, Kirby Smart agreed, and there's been more of a commitment to getting Chubb and Michel more touches.
Second down and 1.
The clock keeps ticking.
Does it ever. 6:35 to go. Both teams full complement of timeouts. Christian Payne is the fullback here on 2nd and 1. And off, cut back, Chubb.
That was a great read by Chubb that time. Instead of following his fullback, Christian Payne, he felt the hole inside. He gave up on the fullback and went the other way. Watch us. He feels it, and cuts back at just the right time. Backside blockers doing a good job, but remember, they only needed a yard for a first down. Chubb showing why so many people believe he was one of the great players and running backs in college football.
Oh, he had that amazing
Instinctive runner and powerful.
Brian Harrion on now. Auburn's had it for exactly 20 minutes. Toss.
Outside again.
Harrion. And he did.
And usually it's the Auburn team that piles up the plays against the opponent. But in the second half, it's been 32 plays to 18 plays. I know it's 18 plays for Auburn, right, Vern?
Yeah, it's
6
easy.
possessions, 3 times.
It's easy to figure out. I'll put my sociology major to good work.
You do this
there.
for 11 years together, you really can just get that. No problem.
Second down, 9.
This formation, this bunch formation, has given Auburn trouble to the outside. Can they do it again?
Chubb puts his head down and drives to the 32. 5:15 to go. Third down.
So do you let Jacob Eason throw the football? He's kind of earned the right in this football game. He's 19 for 30. He's not had the big mistake. Really hard to believe you're going to be able to run the ball and you're not really in field goal position. Is it 4-down territory? That's the question for Chaney and Smart.
Third down, 6. Mims goes top of the screen. Eason back. Has time. Crossing route. Isaac Nada. And a first down at the 14-yard line.
Same play. Remember the play? Picking for the tight end. Go back to it. It worked before. Run it again. pick from the slot, cross it, there it is, safe play. Trust your quarterback, he's accurate, gets it to him, and Nada, the two true freshmen, move the chains for a first down. Kevin Steele has to come with the blitz now. He has to force a turnover. He can't play safe. He's got to force tackle for a loss, big sack, or a turnover. There's Kevin with the card in front of him.
Eason now 20 of 31 for 209. And they'll use the toss again. He's got some help. Chubb inside the 10. And the clock now shows 3:50 to go.
And you know what's amazing for this Auburn defense? They're used to their offense tiring out the other team's defense. The Auburn defense is fatiguing now. The plays in the second half of this game have mounted up, and their offense has not had anything but a 3 and out. The defense is getting tired, and they're getting tired while Georgia huddles every time.
Yeah.
When you move the ball, you can make a defense tired.
It's Sony Michel in the backfield now. They toss it to him. He comes right. Outside and out of bounds at the 6-yard line. And let's go down to Allie LaForce.
Vern, Auburn is missing 2 defenders right now. Carlton Davis is dealing with the right ankle injury, and he's getting it retaped. And Stephen Roberts is dealing with cramping. They're trying to massage it out and giving him Gatorade, trying to get him back in this game as quickly as possible.
That may be, but it's those defensive linemen that are really having the problem right now. Remember, Jim Chaney said I need to get it in the fourth quarter because they're fast in the first quarter. Will they be fast in the fourth quarter? He was talking about those defensive linemen.
2:51 to go. First and goal, toss. Left, Michel. And he is gang tackled. It'll be second down.
Oh, look at Gus Miles on take a timeout here. 2:42 to go. Remember, the timeouts are worth way more on defense. Offense, you don't need them as much in college football.
At the conclusion of this one, we invite you to stay tuned for the play of the game presented by Napa Auto Parts. Jim Chaney.
If he's got to play, if they get it in the end zone, I got to put Chubb in the game, I'll tell you number one. But if you got a play you believe in, you're calling it here on second down. The one you really think can score. Second down is when you need it.
There's Nick Chubb.
He is in the game.
Last guy in the huddle will be Jacob Eason, the freshman quarterback. Second down and goal. Gus Malzahn's team has won 6 in a row after a 1-2 start. I asked you at the beginning of our day telecast, what does Georgia have to play for? And you said this game. Yep. Christian Payne will lead the way. Chubb back to the line of scrimmage.
Timeout again by Malzahn. Good use of the timeouts. Can't let Georgia eat 40 seconds in between these plays each time.
Third down goal.
Right now there's a conversation going on. Chaney wants to throw it. He's got to talk Kirby Smart into it.
And this invitation, when we put this one to bed, we'll go back to New York for the Jeep postgame show. Scores and highlights from around college football as we get deep into the season. Okay, Jacob Eason. Chubb is in there. Coach, what you got?
Interesting that Kirby Smart is down talking to the linesman. I wonder if he's considering going for it on fourth down with the obvious position that he would call a timeout, maybe with 1 second to go.
Third and goal.
I would throw it. I would have thrown it on second down, to tell you the truth. I don't think they could have run it in from the second down play. Let's see what he's got here. They're going to trick play. They're going to stack it directly.
There they are. The reverse, the pass. Got a man in the end zone. Knocked away.
He had a great defensive play. It was their 2-point play they used. It was going to go back to Jacob Eason. I think Deshaun Davis is the guy that knocked it away. Watch Eason. It's going to be a reverse pass. It's their two-point play. But Davis, number 57, is it? I think it is. It could have been either him or 31. Javaris Davis, inches away from a touchdown.
So Rodrigo Blankenship comes on. This is from 21 yards out. And snap. And the kick does go through.
Well, we know what Kirby was talking to the linesman about. He wanted to warn the linesman that they had somewhat of a trick play there.
Good job by Jacob Eason of getting the ball down, and the kick is good. And Georgia leads by 6. 15 plays, 65 yards. It took 6 minutes and 48 seconds off the clock. And look at these second half possessions for Auburn.
I will say this, the next one will have a 4 because they got to go for it on every time. They're not going to have another 3 unless they turn it over.
Kerryon Johnson, number 21. He's now carried 22 times for 99 yards, and Nick Chubb for Georgia, 22 carries for 98 yards. Leading ball carriers.
Well, Auburn has been in a lot of tight games.
Yeah. Always going to bring it out. But not very far. Tyreek McGee was one of those there. Number 26.
Yeah, I don't mind to tell you the truth. I think with this time of the game, you're looking for big plays. I mean, it's 2 yards into the end zone, go for it. You might break it all the way. With an offense that's gone 6 3 and outs, I try to score any way I can. 18 plays, 24 yards, and now here you go.
White stays in at quarterback, 4 for 16 for a total of 19 yards. Goes right, out of the backfield. Kerryon Johnson. Second and 6. Georgia will rush 3.
I think it's the first time. They did it on first down. It's the first time all day I've seen them rush 3. They do it again.
White, right. Out of bounds at the 22. It's going to bring up a 3rd down. That was Marcus Davis with the catch. Again, what's at stake? Gus Malzahn's team needs a win here and a win at Alabama in 2 weeks. Or Alabama wins the West with a Georgia victory tonight. 3rd down, 3. 4-man rush. Go right? No. Did he catch it?
Nope.
No.
As I said, if the drive ends, it's going to be 4 plays because they can't punt it again. Inaccurate throw. Was not a good throw. Would have had to been too good of a catch. And when he caught it, he was out of bounds.
4th and 3. White. Incomplete.
Ball game. One of the worst second halves I've seen in a long time for a team playing for a championship.
Gary, total yards in this half. 32.
Not one first down in the second half. This is a team that put over 500 yards rushing against Arkansas. Didn't have it tonight. Not even close. And remember, that defense gave up 2 field goals. A pick 6 will be the difference in the game.
And not to be forgotten, this is a team, Georgia, that lost 4 out of 5. With this victory, they're bowl eligible.
Well, like I said, it doesn't make the season a success, but it sure does help the medicine go down a little bit here, because this one meant a lot to Georgia, and Auburn didn't show.
First-year head coach Kirby Smart surrounded by his offense. And let's go back to the 4th down play.
And just no offense in the second half. 4-man rush this time. Good coverage, good break on the play from the secondary that time. Handling it, Dominic Sanders, number 24. And an inaccurate pass needed to be lower. Nothing from that Auburn offense in the second half. With 94 seconds and 1 timeout, 80 seconds is going to be dead in between plays. They got to kill about 12 seconds to get out of the game.
Chuck. 23rd carry. Auburn uses its final timeout. This is shocking. No possession lasted more than 2 minutes.
I think a big story of this game caught up with Auburn. Their injuries. Sean White was not himself that he played when he was healthy. He did not look like the Sean White that was so accurate and efficient when they were on their hot streak, and without Petway, they had nowhere to turn. The Georgia defense and their defensive front 7 beat them. You got to give them credit, and I'll tell you, Maurice Smith's INT pick 6, what a wonderful play. Maurice Smith's had a great year for Georgia.
Alabama transfer, he's a graduate. Somewhere in the depths of the bench. Look at the Georgia backups, many of them are standing up on the bench so they can see over their teammates.
Remember, 88 seconds to go, and Georgia can kill 80 of them in between plays during this clock. They're just going to take a knee. All Eason has to do is back up and kill a couple seconds. And he will.
There he goes. There's Cameron Petway, injured on what was going to be a touchdown run and cinched the victory over Vanderbilt last week. And he pulled up on the 20-yard line, unable to go today.
Now, Kirby could use another timeout to settle his team down, not to make a mistake. You do it, or even take a delay of game. It doesn't make any difference.
9 on the play clock.
Let it go all the way down.
Carl Lawson had a shot at Eason and took it.
Yeah, you can't blame him.
No.
Jacob Eason was trying to delay and buy a few more seconds, and Lawson tried to pop the ball loose. Very clean play. He did not take a knee, he was trying to buy time.
"17 seconds to go."
I'd rather leave Auburn 2 seconds than 1 second if I've got to lead a minute.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, it should be zeros, to tell you the truth.
The win streak for Auburn is going to end at 6. Alabama is going to win the West.
And not only that, I think now Alabama could get upset. Not likely, but they could get upset by Auburn, win the SEC championship, and still get in the playoffs. They have a margin of error now that they might not have had if Auburn would have gone in there with a chance to win the West.
Here's the West. Alabama 10-0. unless we get a kick six something or other here. These two teams do have a history, 2010 and 2013. A tough night for Sean White. Shoulder injury. He did not play in the first half of last week's game. He came on and led the Auburn Tigers to a win over Vanderbilt. Josh Holsey with the big interception to secure that one. But gosh, they couldn't get anything going.
Nothing.
In the
Georgia
second half.
defense,
Yep.
Kirby Smart, Mel Tucker, you got to give them all the credit in the world. That young defensive line, they're deep, but they hung in there, and the physical play of the Auburn offensive line was not enough.
They did put 1 second back on the clock, so 3 seconds to go. It's over. Georgia. 13-7. And it's time now for our Napa play of the game. This one's easy to select. Sean White, Maurice Smith steps in front of it and scoots with help all the way in for the score. At the moment, that tied the game at 7. And Scott Howard, Georgia Radio.